Welcome back, guys, back again on Minecraft, and this time I'm going to be discussing child safety, child accounts, and what you can do to keep your child safe whilst they're playing online. So let's get started with the in-game features. Of course, if anybody tries to type anything, whether it be on a board, a command block, or in-game chat itself, Minecraft is pretty good at starring it out. It won't allow any bad words or anything like that to happen. And of course, since the Better Together update, where it's connected so many devices up together, you can now play with your Switch, your Xbox, your PlayStation 4, Windows 10, you can play them all together. And since that update, they have really been trying extra hard to make sure and combat that there aren't people swearing, using foul language. And in fact, there's certain terms now which will also get caught if it's anything to do with bullying. Not only that, you can get your account suspended or banned permanently if you don't listen to them rules. And another thing I just wanted to add there is that every Xbox or Bedrock player does have to have an Xbox Live account. And what that means is that they can always keep track. So if somebody does get reported or is reporting you, they can keep track by the name. They can, of course, ban you through that, and that will stop you having access to Minecraft if you keep breaking them rules. And as I was saying earlier, there are many ways of playing online with multiplayer now and playing with other people. Anything from starting your own realm, you're able to join realms, LAN games if you've got that option open, and of course servers on certain devices. And what you will find is that servers and LAN games are probably the best protected because they're directly through Minecraft. And servers as well, although they do come with exactly the same rules, sometimes they will give a warning prior to joining a server or starting your own server that you do have to be a bit careful, because that's more monitored by the actual server owner themselves and whatever they have implemented on their server. Now you might be wondering about Java, because I've just been mentioning Bedrock so far and what they've got in place for that, but what they are bringing in the future is they're going to be migrating all Java accounts into Microsoft accounts. After that's done, they'll be able to keep a much better check on language and stuff like that and work in much the same way as Bedrock. So if you do keep getting reported, they can ban your Xbox Live account and you won't have so many people playing that are using bad language or bullying or anything offensive. And the larger online servers such as Mineplex, Mineville, CubeCraft, Galaxite and the Hive are all very well protected and have a very good system for actually catching anybody not only bullying but swearing or using any sort of bad language that anybody might find offensive. And for an extra layer of safety, of course, you can go through the player names, and if you do find someone to be doing something that they shouldn't be doing, you can click on them, you can mute them, block them, or report them for anything through cheating to bad language or anything like that. And in-game, if you are hosting your own LAN game or realm or anything like that, you do, of course, also have the choice by changing what members can actually do. So let's say I want certain members to have certain permissions. You can just go on here, permission level, change it to member, and you can switch everything off and build, whether you want them to mine, use doors and switches, open containers, attack players, attack mobs, or operate commands. And some of the chat filters, especially on the larger servers which are partnered with Microsoft themselves, they do have extra stuff which will stop any sort of email addresses or numbers being exchanged. So you can't in effect be asking for anybody's email, and you can't send somebody their email either. One neat thing as well is that they have actually removed the private messaging from these large servers such as CubeCraft, the Lifeboat and stuff like that, just to stop any other way of bullying or sending over messages that you wouldn't want your child to see. And what you can do if your child is under 13 is you can create an Xbox Live account, but it will need your permission as the parent, so you can in effect see what your child's doing, just make sure that they're not doing anything untoward. By default, all child accounts do have the multiplayer and communications setting blocked. That means that the parent logs in and changes the setting, or sorry, I should say only the parent can come in and change the setting to enable multiplayer. That way you can keep your child playing without other players. If you do feel like they're able to, then you can go and change that yourself. This will stop your children to be able to join realms or other multiplayer games until you have enabled that. If your child is over 13 and you're still not, or you're still a bit worried about them joining multiplayer games or being visible to other LAN players, which means if you're playing your own world, somebody that's on your friends list can see it and then join it. All you got to do is just head to the world, tap on this button here, and then head over to the multiplayer option. Now here you see it's got a multiplayer game. You can click this and it won't allow the joining of multiplayer games. You can switch it off so it's not visible for LAN players, so when you're playing your single player world, all your friends and anybody on your friends list or Xbox Live list won't be able to just simply join on. Here you do have the Microsoft account settings that you'll allow players to play. So if you want friends of friends, that means if you're playing an online game and somebody's friend sees it, they can join if they're friends with you. Obviously you can change that to friends only or invite only. So if you do have a server or your child plays on a server, not all is lost, because you do have things like plugins. If you're playing a Java world, you can download a anti-bad word plugin or anything like that. You can of course search through the categories, find something that works for you, anything from anti-bad words, anti-spam and stuff like that. Get that added to your server, configure the list if you want to change the words on it, but on the most part that should take out any bad language. And if you do run an MCPE server, there are plugins for that as well. I just had a quick search and found a bad word blocker, and that will block out either more words. Although they should be blocked out already, it's always good to have a secondary level. If you're looking to create a child account, of course, if you just follow these steps here, which is number 1, log on to this link right here, which I'll also leave a link in the description. Click on family on the top of the menu, scroll down till you can see the Microsoft accounts that's associated with your account, and you can add a new child account that way. You do that by clicking on add a family member. Here you can create an account for your child by clicking create one for them. Follow the directions to create the account. You should now see the child's Microsoft account on your screen. There are some parental settings, but there are additional settings on this link right here, and I'll leave all the links in the description, of course, for you to follow. Now, if you do want to adjust some of the parental controls on the account, you just got to head to the account xbox.com settings, which I'll also leave the link for. Click on the account you want to manage, and you'll notice they will assign a random gamer tag to your child's account. To make these, the first name change you make is free. And you just got to click on change gamer tag on the menu on the left. To change a child's account gamer tag, you will need to log on to xbox.com with the child's account. And then you've got to review the settings. Note that the settings that have Xbox 360 after them are not specific to the Xbox 360. It is merely indicating that a menu option was called on the Xbox 360 console. The settings apply for Microsoft accounts across all devices. And finally, once you've done that, and if you do want to turn on realms so your children can maybe play with their friends, you might want to set up a realm for their friends maybe, or a server or anything like that. All you got to do is log into the account xbox.com settings with a parental Microsoft account. Click on the child's account profile and then click on Xbox One, Windows 10 Online and choose Allow for Join Multiplayer Games. Now this is what it will look like once you do change the settings, so it gives you lots of different things that you can do, anything from allow, add friends, join multiplayer games, share game clips, share content made using Connect, share outside of Xbox Live, broadcast gameplay, and creating new clubs. Obviously you can allow or block that, that's completely up to you. After you've done that, just hit save. And some more options with the privacy here, anything from see other people's Xbox Live profiles, whether you want it to be just be friends, everybody, or block, use video for communications, share stuff with people on the Xbox, and other stuff as well, such as who can see your profile. So a few more neat things in game are the ability to be able to kick if you're on a realm. So if you do a / and kick, you can kick any player that's on your realm that's not supposed to be. With realms, of course, you do have codes, so people cannot join without having the codes. If somebody has joined using the code, you can change it, refresh it, and it will just give you a brand new code. Anybody with the old code won't be able to join. And you've also got a way to kick and add players onto your realm, so if somebody's not behaving well, you can always kick them off your realm. Obviously you do still have the normal kick command, but then on servers you have stuff like ban and ban IP, which means you can permanently ban them from entering your server, and you can also ban their IP completely, so even if they make a different account, they won't be able to log in with the same IP. And if you do run a server for your children or children and their friends, you do have a lot more options on here, stuff like whitelisting. So if you were to head down to your file and your config files, in here you've got the ability to turn on whitelisting, which means that anybody that's not added on, there it is, whitelisting enabled, and anybody that's not added onto your world cannot simply join. So if you've got, let's say your son or your daughter, and they've got a few friends, they can let you know their gamer tag, you add them on, and only they will be able to play. No outside people will be able to join in. So just to cap it off, using realm servers and multiplayer games can be extremely fun, and most children do enjoy them, but of course just be vigilant, make sure you keep an eye out and communicate with your child. Just make sure they're not chatting or has anybody chat to them that they shouldn't have. For more SeekaHost tutorials, make sure to check out my channel, and of course if you want to start up your own server, there'll be a link in the description.